Hey guys, we're back again for the next installment of the Hand in Hand watercolor series, and today I'm going to be painting the man from the set. So we're going to start off. I have him stamped and cut already, and we're going to make the jacket, I think, kind of shades of, I can't decide if I should do blues or browns. I don't know, maybe we'll start with his jeans and I'll think about it. Alright, so for his jeans, I'm going to start out with Mayan blue and just gonna kind of give it a wash here. I have a little too much water, so I'm gonna soak that up a little bit. So I'm just starting with that Mayan blue, and I am going to, kind of like I have been doing, if you watched the video with the lady, again, I'm going to leave a few areas of white here to kind of mimic some fabric wrinkles or creases. And once again, we are using kind of the same value sketches or lighting, light and shadows as we have been using. So we're going to continue with that. So I'm just going to go ahead and keep going on this. Do the other leg now. And once again, I'm going to catch some kind of fabric folds here. And we have his shoe at the bottom, so I'm going to stop right there with the blue. But I am going to, while it's still wet, drop in a little bit more concentrated color. Especially here under his jacket, where it would be in a little bit of shadow here from his jacket. And then also kind of more on this shadowed side of his body. And this leg here is probably a little more in shadow. Okay, so I think that's a pretty good start. I'm going to let that dry a little bit. We don't want to work on sections that are right next to each other, so I think I'm going to actually go up to the top here and work on his back of his neck here. We'll add a little bit of flesh tone to that using some kind of yellow ochre and burnt sienna. And that's kind of dark, so I'm gonna wash my brush and then just kind of pull over the color that I already put down. And then maybe add a little bit of shading down here and along the shadow side again. I might just add a little bit of pink tone. Okay, so that looks pretty good. I think we can move on. That's not terribly wet, so I think we can move on to his hair. I'm going to think again about the light hitting this side of his head. So he's going to have brown hair, but we're going to start with a little bit of lighter golden yellow ochre here. And then we'll move into some browns. And we'll just kind of let the two colors blend there where they meet. And I want to darken that up quite a bit over here on this side. So I'm going in here with some really dark brown. And I'm going to actually leave that for now, I think, and then I will come back a little bit later when that's dry and add a little bit more detail. Alright, I might move down here and work on his shoes a little bit. We will probably make those pretty dark. Maybe they'll be brown, but almost sort of black. It's the soles of his shoes. Maybe this top edge here is a little lighter. It's maybe catching the light just a little bit. That light comes this way. But then this bottom part of the bottom of his shoe is going to be pretty dark there where it's right along the ground. And then moving on to his other shoe. Don't see a whole lot of that. That's just kind of the back side. But we'll add some shading. Drop in some darker color down here. And we might darken this one up just a little bit more, especially on this side. And I washed my brush and dried it, and I'm just going to kind of blend out this kind of sharp edge that I created here with the shadow. I kind of like that, but we're going to add a little bit more color darkness down here to this one. Okay, so we're going to move up to his jacket. I still haven't quite decided what color to make that. Maybe we'll start with some golds and kind of work into some reddish browns. And we'll kind of start with golds over here, so we have the sun kind of shining on him once again. It's kind of the look we were going for with our lady there too, so maybe they're a couple and they're both walking in the sunshine. But I kind of got his hood in there, and I'm gonna blot that out of there because I'm going to make his hood, probably going to make that gray. Okay, so then let's kind of work into some kind of reddish browns. And then maybe we'll work into some darker browns as we kind of head over this side. Once again, I'm going to leave some white areas as highlights as I kind of go along here. I might even drop in kind of a little bit of gray. My Payne's gray, just kind of in these areas here, just to add some interest. Maybe it's kind of reflecting off of his jeans. And you could always go back and darken things up with another coat, more layers if you feel like it's too light. Once it's dry, just go back and add some more color. Okay, I kind of like that. I'm gonna let it dry. I kind of like the way our colors are blending in here in this area. It's kind of got some neat blends in there. I'm gonna let that dry for a little while, and then I'll go back up and finish his hood, and then also possibly add in a little more shading. I need to clean up this edge over here just a little bit though. Alright, so we're going to go back to his jeans, and I'm going to add a little bit of shading and detail. I'm going to be taking Payne's Gray, and we'll add some kind of pocket details here. The image, the stamped image, has just kind of a hint of that, so we might try to kind of add that. That's pretty dark. So I washed and dried my brush, and then I'm just going to kind of blend that out a little bit. So I'm just going to add a little bit of shading here on the inside of his leg and kind of around those fabric creases. Just kind of need a hint of it, just a hint of shadow or detail can kind of make it come to life. Alright, I think that's looking pretty good. Let's see. We have his hand yet. I forgot to do his hand when I was doing the flesh color for the skin on his neck. I should have done his hand at the same time. But I'll go in and do that now. And it's just such a small area that it's very forgiving. Alright, let's go back up to his hair and add a little bit of more definition to his hair. I feel like his hair is kind of blending in with his neck, And so we're gonna go in here with a darker brown. And just add some shading along this shadowed side of his head. I'll clean and dry my brush and then blend that out. I want even a little bit more, just really dark down in there along his neck, where his hair meets his neck, to just really kind of define that area. And then maybe I'll add just a few like small brush strokes to give it a little texture. I feel like I have a really hard line right here. I might try to blend that out just a little bit more. Alright, that's better. Now I feel like his jacket, once it's dried, needs a little bit more shading. It's a little blah, so let's see if we can liven it up a little bit. I have kind of a mix of colors here. I don't know exactly what I have. I have kind of some Payne's gray mixed with some dark brown, Van Dyke brown. And maybe I will take a little bit more of this Payne's gray as it is and add some shadows with that in this area. Clean and dry my brush and kind of blend out those strokes that I just made so they're not so prominent. Then I might go with this reddish brown and add just some shading up under the hood. Kind of blend that out again with a dry brush. And this side is a little more golden because of the sunlight. And then I'll add a little bit of definition here where his arm is meeting his body. And then maybe just a little shadow, a little deeper color down here at the bottom. Alright, that looks a little bit better. It's a little livelier, a little more color to it. We just have his hood, and then I think we're finished. I'm going to make his hood kind of gray. So I'm going to go in here and I'm going to again be careful to leave some highlighted areas. So just kind of light strokes. And I'm going to capture a little bit of that golden color. Over on this highlighted side. And then we want some deeper color over here, so I'll drop in a little more concentrated color. Especially down here, the bottom of the hood. Alright, so I feel like that is pretty well finished. And there is our guy. He is all colored and ready to go. So in the next video we will be painting the little girl.